Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi, my name is Izzatun Najihah binti Kasmuri. I will start the video presentation with the background of companies. Firstly, I'll start with company that we have chosen, which is Telkom-Digi. Telkom-Digi, formerly known as Digi.com Berhad. Telkom-Digi Berhad is a Malaysian communications group and mobile service provider. On November 30, 2022, the Digi division of Telenor Asia merged with the Celcom subsidiary of Axiata to form Celcom-Digi. As well, with 33.1% of the combined company's equity and board representation each, Axiata and Telenor are partners on an equal footing. The coverage and services provided by Celcom-Digi include 4G LTE, 4G LTE-A, 5G NR, and 2G H networks. In addition to this, Celcom-Digi has 91% LTE Advanced, which is LTE-A, population coverage statewide as of December 2023, and 97% 4G LTE coverage in densely populated areas. Lastly, in terms of ownership, the two largest shareholders of Celcom-Digi Berhad are Axiata Group Berhad and Telenor Group, both of which possesses a 3.1% stake in the Norwegian telecom giant. Now let's move on to the next company. The next company that we chose is Maxis Berhad. Maxis Berhad, the former Maxis Communications, is one of Malaysia's leading providers of communications services. Because ownership and establishment, Maxis was founded in 1993. Maxis has a long history in the telecommunications sector. Moreover, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the company's headquarters. Furthermore, Maxis is one of the largest and oldest telecommunications companies in Malaysia. What's more, Malaysian billionaire Ananda Krishnan owns the bulk of Maxis shares. Other than that, Maxis operates 4G LTE, 4G LTE-A, and 2G H networks for coverage and services. As of 2016, Maxis has achieved 100% 4G population coverage in Klang Valley, Penang, and Johor Bahru with a minimum signal strength of 110 dBm. Maxis said that 92% of Malaysia's population was served by its 4G LTE network in July 2018. Now let's take a look for the first ratio, which is liquidity ratios. So what is liquidity ratios? A company's liquidity ratio can be used to assess if it has enough cash on hand to pay down its short-term debt or if it will need to borrow more money to do so. Current ratio, quick ratio, and net working capital are the three types of ratios that fall under the category of liquidity ratios. Firstly, the current ratio for Celcom-Digi in 2022 is 0.4627 times and decreases in 2023 to 0.4601 times. Owing to not being greater than 1, the current ratio for both years is poor and indicates that the company's current liabilities are greater than its current assets. This could make people wonder if the businesses will be able to pay off its short-term commitments, including loans and other expenses. It can mean that the company is overly reliant on short-term borrowing or that it is struggling to convert its current assets into cash. The higher the ratio, the more liquid the company is. The quick ratio for Celcom-Digi in 2022 is 0.4440 times and decreases in 2023 to 0.4270 times. In general, a quick ratio of greater than 1 indicates that the business has precisely the right amount of assets to liquidate immediately to cover its current liabilities. Conversely, a quick ratio of less than 1 indicates that the business may not be able to pay off its current liabilities in full in the near future. Next, Celcom-Digi's net working capital will not be positive in either 2022 or 2023. However, compared to 2022, Celcom-Digi has less net working capital in 2023. This indicates that the company's cash flow management is poor. This may be due to unusual damage to sales, inventory, or the bankruptcy of a large debtor. Conversely, a positive net working capital indicates that the businesses can finance its ongoing operations as well as investments in the expansion of its future ventures. Next, current ratio for Maxis in 2022 is 0.5780 times and decreases in 2023 to 0.5609 times. Owing to not being greater than 1, the current ratio for both years is poor and indicates that the company's current liabilities are greater than its current assets. This could make people wonder if the businesses will be able to pay off its short-term commitments, including loans and other expenses. It can mean that the company is overly reliant on short-term borrowing or that it is struggling to convert its current assets. Next, the quick ratio for Maxis in 2022 is 0.5763 times and decreases in 2023 to 0.5568 times. In general, a quick ratio of greater than 1 indicates that the businesses has precisely the right amount of assets to liquidate immediately to cover its current liabilities. Conversely, a quick ratio of less than 1 indicates that the businesses may not be able to pay off its current liabilities in full in the near future. As for the net working capital for Maxis in 2022 is negative 2031 and negative 2381 in 2023. Maxis net working capital will not be positive in either 2022 or 2023. However, compared to 2023, Maxis has less net working capital in 2022. This indicates that the company's cash flow management is poor. This may be due to unusual damage to sales, inventory, or the bankruptcy of a large debtor. Conversely, a positive net working capital indicates that the business can finance its ongoing operations as well as investments in the expansion of its future ventures. Current ratio for companies CelcomDigi and Maxis in 2022 and 2023. The amount that we get are by using the formula. The formula that we use to get the amount is by current assets divided by current liabilities. Next, for the quick ratio, the formula is current assets minus inventories and then divide by current liabilities. This formula applies for both companies CelcomDigi and Maxis. Lastly, for the net working capital, the formula we are using is by current assets minus current liabilities. This formula is also applied for both companies CelcomDigi and Maxis. Next, for the leverage ratios, the ratio that involve are debt to assets ratio, debt to equity ratio, and equity ratio. Firstly, the debt to assets ratio. The formula that we use to get the amount is by using total debt divided by total assets. This formula applies for both company, which is CelcomDigi and Maxis. Next, debt to equity ratio. The formula we are using for debt to equity ratio is applied for the both CelcomDigi and Maxis. We are using the formula by the total debt divided by net worth to get the amount of debt to equity ratio. Lastly, the formula for equity ratio is by using total equity divided by total assets. This is also applied for both company, which is CelcomDigi and Maxis company.
Asset management ratio is a type of financial ratio which is also known as asset efficiency ratio to measure the ability of the asset to earn or generate revenue and sales. Asset management ratios analysis is very important and useful to help us to understand the overall level of efficiency for business, whether it's performing or not. So the first type ratio under asset management ratio is inventory turnover ratio. This ratio measures how efficiently a company turns its inventory to sale. So for the formula, inventory turnover ratio equal to revenue divided by inventory. So inventory turnover for the CelcomDigi per height is 41.21 in 2022 and increased to 51.41 into 2023. It showed a good trend was reported by the CelcomDigi per height, and this trend indicates that there will be more products consumed in 2023 than 2022, indicating that they are successful in increasing their sale and making use of their inventories. For the inventory turnover for Maxis per height was reported to decrease drastically from 123.62 in 2022 to 462.72 in 2023. It showed a weak trend ratio recorded by Maxis per height, where the company is unable to take the advantage of inventory in 2022 to boost their sales. The fact that this ratio is decreasing suggests that they are not making a good use of their inventory. So the second ratios under asset management ratio is total asset turnover ratio. So this ratio indicates how efficiently a company uses its assets to generate sales. For their formula, total asset turnover ratio equal to revenue divided by total assets. So fixed asset turnover for CelcomDigi per height was increased from 1.07 in 2022 to 2.06 in 2023. It showed a strong trend ratio as reported by DG Celcom per height. The fixed asset turnover ratio is positively increased, indicating that CelcomDigi per height is making a better use of their capital investments to generate income, while fixed asset turnover for Maxis per height is increased from 1.73 in 2022 to 1.89 in 2023. A good trend in this ratio could indicate that Maxis per height fixed assets help in generating sales as much as they can, which can be a good sign for the company to keep success in the future. So for the third ratios under asset management ratio is fixed assets turnover ratio. This ratio measures how efficiently a company uses its fixed assets to generate cash sales. So the formula for fixed asset turnover ratio is equal to revenue divided by total fixed assets. Total assets turnover for Celcom Digi Berhad is increased from 0.17 in 2022 to 0.34 in 2023. It shows a strong performance as reported by Celcom Digi Berhad, and as a result, their debt collection was increased and succeeds in 2023 due to the Celcom's DG having a strong activity ratio in overall performance. This is because the greater performance shown by a company, the higher total assets turnover indicates, and a greater ratio suggests that the business is making more money. Since Celcom Digi's Berhad made sure of its assets to boost sales, they are able to calculate a larger return to its shareholders. While for Mrs. Berhad reported an increase in their total assets turnover in 2023 is 0.4469 compared with 2022. Total assets turnover is 0.4242 in 2022. Mrs. Berhad translation was performed in 2023. It shows the company has a good ability to generate income because the higher total assets turnovers indicates, and the greater ratio suggests that business is making more money. Since Mrs. Berhad making use of its assets to boost sales, they are able to calculate larger return to its shareholders. Profitability ratio are financial measurement that assess a company's ability to create profit in comparison to its revenue, asset, equity, and other financial variables. This ratio will provide a light on several aspects of a company's financial performance and efficiency. So the first step under profitability ratio is return on assets. It indicates how profitable a company is relative to its total assets. For the formula, return on assets equal to earning after tax divided by total assets. For return on assets for Celcom Digi Berhad for the year 2022 to 2023 shows improvement from 2.23% to 4.3%. This positive increase makes them have a good financial and effective management practices. It shows that the company is more effective in utilizing its assets to generate profits. For investors, this uptick in return on asset is promising a sign of the company's growing profitability and robust financial health. Right? Return on asset for Mrs. Berhad is slightly decreasing in 2022 is 4.95% to 4.35% in 2023. A lower return on asset could imply either decreased profitability relative to its asset base on potentially increased asset base without a corresponding increase in profitability. This decrease suggests that either its profitability relative to its asset base decrease or its asset base expanded faster than its profitability. So the next ratio under profitability ratio is net profit margin. Net profit margin shows the percentage of revenue that becomes profit after all expenses are deducted. So for the formula is net profit margin equal to earning after tax divided by sales. For net profit margin for Celcom Digi Berhad slightly decreased from 12.52% in 2022 to 12.35% in 2023. This decrease could be due to the various factors such as increase in operating costs, higher tax, or competitive pressures leading to reduced pricing lower. Even though it's decreased, but the company maintains the net profit margin above the 12%, show that it remains relatively strong and reflect overall stability. Net profit margin for Mrs. Berhad is decreased from 15.44% in 2022 to 9.74% in 2023. A lower net profit margin can stem from several factors including increased operating expenses, pricing pressures, or changes in revenue streams. This drop in profitability efficiency can be concerning as it reflects on how well Mrs. Berhad managed its cost relative to its revenue generations during these years. And then the ratios under profitability ratio is return on equity. It measures the profitability of a company in generating income from shareholders' equity. So for the formula, return on equity equal to earning after tax divided by shareholder equity. Return on equity for Celcom Digital Berhad increased from 5.17% in 2022 to 9.52% in 2023, indicating a significant improvement in how effectively the company is using shareholders' equity to generate profit. It indicates that the company has enhanced the ability to generate profit from shareholder investments. The increase in return on equity suggests that Celcom Berhad management has been successful in either increase their net income related to shareholder equities or managing equity more efficiently to boost returns. So in 2022, for the Maxis Berhad, their return on equity is 6.79% and it's increased to 5.82% for 2023. For shareholders, this trend may be concerning as it indicates a lower return for their investment. The lower return on equity in 2023 suggests that either the company faced higher costs, lower revenues, or both, which affected overall profitability. Here to your comparative balance sheet from 2022 to 2023. The first company is Celcom Digi. For year-to-year challenges analysis, for the Celcom Digi, to get the changes in total assets is RM 36,426,845 minus with RM 38,011,346, and the answer will be right with current year amount and multiple with 100. The changes for total assets 84.52%. And then to get the changes in total equity is 16,458,766 minus with RM 16,398,974, and the answer will be divided with the current year amount and multiple with 100. The changes for total equity is 8.40%. And the last one, to get the changes in total liabilities is 19,968,079. We minus with 21,612,672, and the answer will be divided with the current year amount and multiple with 100. So the changes for the total liability is negative 72.76%. Year-to-year changes analysis for Maxis Berhad to get the changes in total assets is 22,781 minus with 23,045, and the answer will be divided with the current year amount and multiple with 100. And the changes for the total assets is 144.51%. And then to get the changes in the total equity is 5,744. We minus with 6,091. And the answer will be divided with the current year amount and multiple with 100. The change for the total equity is a negative 55.68%. And then the last one, to get the changes in total liabilities, is RM 70,037 minus with 16,954. And the answer will be divided with the current year amount and also will multiple with 100. And the changes for the total liabilities is 182%.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I will continue with data visualization or liquidity ratio. As you can see, Celcom Digital Berhad and Maxis Berhad from the year 2022 until 2023, they happened decreasement in liquidity ratio, which is current ratio and quick ratio. People may wonder if they can be able to pay their debt because of the decreasement that happened in the year 2022 until 2023. But for net working capital, as you can see that Celcom Digital Berhad is getting higher in the 2023, better than 2022. Okay, next I will go for the leverage ratio. For leverage ratio for Celcom Digital Berhad and Maxis Berhad, we can see that Maxis Berhad is higher than Celcom Digital Berhad, which means the higher the leverage, the higher the financial risk. So as we can see, Maxis Berhad have the higher financial risk on this ratio because
as you can see, for debt to equity ratio, they are higher than second digit Berhad. And for equity ratio, we can see that a lower equity ratio generally indicates the greater financial risk. They will make the financial how they want to repay the debt and how the people saw them to manage their debt. Okay, next I will go for the asset management ratio. As we know, the asset management ratio is really important to know how the company efficiency to manage their business. And for these two companies, which is Second DG Berhad and Maxis Berhad, we can see that Second DG Berhad is increased from the year 2022 until 2023 from the inventory turnover, fixed asset turnover, and total asset turnover. And for Maxis Berhad, they become decrease on the inventory turnover and increase on fixed asset turnover. And also they increase for total asset turnover. But even though they are increased, but from these two company, Second DG Berhad is better than Maxis Berhad. Okay, lastly for data visualization is profitability ratio. As we know, profitability ratio is the financial measurement that assess a company ability to create profit from comparison with its revenue, asset, inventory, equity, and other financial variables. And for Second DG Berhad and Maxis Berhad, we can see that even though they have a slightly different, but we know that from the return on equity, Second DG Berhad is higher than Maxis Berhad. And for return on asset, is just a different a little bit, but Maxis Berhad is higher than Second DG Berhad. And for net profit margin, we know that on how Second DG Berhad could operate their business and how they manage their profit better than Maxis Berhad. Okay, for the recommendation that we want to suggest for both company, basically for Maxis Berhad, we want to suggest them to make the improvement for liquidity ratio, so they will not have the problem to pay their debt. And for both company, which is Maxis and Second DG, we hope that both company take the opportunity on how to take the market demand on their business, so they can make profit based on the customer demand, so they can produce the product. And to avoid the debt, we wish the both company to choose the better financing choice with lower interest, so they will not suffer based on the rate they have given. Okay, for the conclusion, as we can see that Maxis Berhad and Second DG Berhad, Second DG Berhad is more better than Maxis Berhad from the profitability ratio, because on how they manage the profit and make the shareholder and shareholder and investor to trust them more, because they got the profit from the business that have been worked from the company. So we can see from the 2022 until 2023, Second DG Berhad have increased on how they improve their business, but from Maxis Berhad, they don't have any improvement to make their business get their more profit, and they stay at the level until now. So we can say that Second DG Berhad is more better than Maxis Berhad. That's all from me. Thank you.